Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Insert Name Here. It's a podcast about nothing for nobody. If you take it seriously, you're redacted. Let's start the show. Hey,
What's up?
hello, and welcome to Insert Name Here. It's a podcast about nothing for nobody. If you take it seriously, you're redacted. I'm your co-host, Doug Bennett.
And guys, I'm your other co-host, Seth Nacho. How we doing today? Welcome to this wonderful recording, but it is not a great day today. It is raining outside, so it is what it is. But welcome to the new set for this one episode, maybe another one in the future.
Yeah, well, it's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life here in the United States of America.
I thought you were about to sing.
And,
It's a new dawn, isn't that James Bond?
and sometimes that means, well, what it really means is that the boys are back. And being as political as we are, I thought it was time to show off the DC studio.
Okay.
We are in the original White House, not the one that Biden lives in right now. Okay,
Okay.
there was
The one that burned down during the War of 1812, is that the one we're in?
Mhm, and we had it reconstructed.
That's the one that they have now.
No, that's the fake one.
We're coming to you live from the Pentagon. There's a 900-year-old chaos dragon beneath us, and we are
And
worried.
if we don't sacrifice 90 million people by the year 2090, it's over.
It's definitely over. It's Jover. Hey, do you mind? Will you pouch me?
Oh, brother, you can pouch yourself.
Well,
Can up.
But yeah, so big news this week, obviously, the election.
It's crazy.
What you're getting at.
Can't believe they stole it again.
Can you believe it?
Yeah,
I can't.
That's just what things are now. Every election is stolen.
Every election's rigged. I mean, I think it's part of the age of the internet's fault. Because, like, I was talking about this before, the internet has so much shit on it, you can't filter what's true and what's false, so you can get away with a lot of shit, including rigging a fucking election.
Mm-hmm. You can rig people's lives, too. One of the biggest things that's seen it come back
Is this Chris Chan?
No, I don't think we're going to get much more out of Chris Chan because I refuse to make us a Blue Sky account.
Right.
And Chris has said that he's done with X. So, not that he used X a whole lot to begin with, but...
I was making a joke about a rigged life. I don't know what you're gonna...
Oh, man, are we really going to take away all of Chris Chan's agency?
Yeah.
I mean, he was manipulated, sure, but like...
Nah, he started out, it was grassroots, you know?
Yeah.
It was some real indie shit.
But
Anyway.
no, well, it was what I've seen come back. It's talking about rigging lives. All of a sudden, we're back to the era of constant personal Me Too's. Just like the timeline has exploded with all sorts of sexual misconduct allegations for non-famous people.
Your timeline?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a For You page. So.
I don't really be looking at shit, I guess. Oh, really, though? That's crazy. I did not know that.
And I'm one of those freaks who I'm constantly interacting with as much as possible because your For Yous show you what you interact with. So about half of this shit is just shit that I disagree with and actively hate because I want to see what's being said. You never know what's going to change your mind. And you never know what
Wow. But what an adult opinion.
you never know what you need to know either.
Okay. Well, so lots of personal Me Too's happening.
Yeah. And then,
Which, honestly, those should be respected, right? I mean, like, they're probably true.
the biggest...
A lot of people have trauma. I mean, like, I don't... Where are you getting at with this, brother? What are you trying to say?
Hey, I'm just saying that they're back.
Oh, okay. You're just noticing a trend.
Yeah. I will say that the biggest one that went down this week, and I didn't take down the names for it because literally who, They're they're individual people. This shouldn't matter societally. But these allegations that were made got pushed out to tens of millions of impressions. Citizen journalist FOIA'd the police department that this incident was around, and not only was there no report on it, there wasn't even a record of the alleged victim attempting to report it like she claimed in her initial story.
Ah, well, that's fucked up.
Yeah, but tens of millions of people now think that this guy's a rapist.
Well, just because they didn't report it doesn't mean it didn't happen. But at the same time, I mean, that does lose credibility for her if she said she reported it and she didn't, right?
To me, it's a complete circumvention of justice. Like,
yeah, but like, I feel like a lot of these things go unreported for these like individual cases. Because like usually it happens when you're a child. Are you gonna report to the police when you're a child? I don't know. You know?
in cases involving adults, which are most of the ones that are getting pushed out like this.
Okay. All right. Thank you for clarifying. Thank you for the clarity.
And thank you for immediately throwing into what looked like a completely indefensible position.
I was trying to mess with you. Yeah. What do you mean? What else am I supposed to do, Doug?
And the boys are back, brother.
The boys are back in town. That's right. Oh man. But yeah.
So much we could talk about, but
They should have played that at Trump's victory thing when right after the election. Instead, they played "I'm proud to be in America." They should have played "The boys are back in town." That'd have been sick, wouldn't it?
oh my God,
JD Vance would have went crazy.
Thin Lizzy, brother.
Because he's like you said. I think you said this last episode. He's a freshman senator, so
Yeah.
that would have been funny. He's a young guy.
Fucking the real problem with that is there's so much good music that's going to go under or unutilized because artists, at least the ones who have rights to their shit, don't fuck with Trump.
That makes sense. They all were fucking with Kamala, remember?
So, but yeah, a big one.
Which more power to them. The election was rigged.
Yeah, we'll have to get
Trump got 10 million votes. Where did they come from?
Yeah,
you
well,
know?
we're the missing 20 million votes.
Yeah, where are those? Like, where are those people? Where did they go?
Yeah.
Did they all die?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard.
COVID happened. I mean,
it's hard to say, man. It's almost like it's almost like a bunch of ballots that nobody asked for got mailed out in 2020, and also magically made their way to the counting places.
there's no way. There's no way, bro. Like, that election was rigged. Trump was going to win that one. The Democrats had to pull that out of their ass. They almost lost.
Yeah, so
They had to rig it.
it's almost like Democrats lose elections when they don't rig them.
Okay, buddy. Oh man.
Yeah, I
What
mean,
was
we
gonna
could.
say? Oh yeah, we need a big question. I didn't do one last week to see if you'd notice, and you did notice. He didn't comment on it till after the show though. But there is, we do need a big question this week.
We're gonna make it up because I have a question this week for you as well.
Yeah, and I have a question for you.
So we're gonna make up last week by doubling up.
Double trouble on the questions. So, question number one. Okay. What are all the women gonna do now, Doug? How is it gonna be safe in this country for a woman?
Okay, two-part answer.
Two-part answer,
You're gonna
okay.
love this. First of all,
First part.
yeah, they're gonna turn to the women of South Korea for guidance and enact 4B. So they stop being bitches, stop getting BBLs. They're gonna hide their breasts, and they're not gonna bake.
This from South Korea?
Yeah, and that's not really what they are.
I'm about to say South Korea does bodily mutilation to change their image. Like what? Stop getting BBLs. That's like what they do. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, so what 4B actually is, and the words in Korean all start with the B sound. So it is 4B over there, but what it translates to over here is they're going to do no marriage, no dating, no pregnancies, and like no casual sex.
Oh, I saw that. Fem cells are rising.
Yeah. There's fucking men can't have shit, bro. Not having sex is our thing. So stop it.
Yeah, for real. Like that's literally a whole generation of men. Like, can we stop, ladies? Like, just go out and fuck like you normally do.
Yeah.
Shit.
So
But anyway, that's cool though. I mean, like, they're starting a movement to like protest. They're boycotting dick.
yeah, respecting their bodies to own the conservatives. Wow. Yeah.
Get owned.
Own. I'm so owned.
You got me.
Keep owning me, please.
Well,
And then the second thing is,
Yeah.
you're going to see that it happens every time there's a wide swing to conservatism. Well, at least it happened in 2016. But then it's also happened in a smaller way every time the House or the Senate has flipped red. Rise in personal gun ownership.
women are gonna buy some guns.
Chicks are buying guns.
Nice.
So we can finally get rid of some of that like fucking pink paint job backstock that's been collecting dust at the local range.
Nice. So the ladies, get out your AKs. It's time to practice.
Yeah. I mean, really, both of the things.
What are you gonna do if a conservative man comes after you? I mean, it's a bear or a man. Like we gotta choose one.
But
You've got to own the rifle, the right kind of rifle for the right kind of prey.
yeah, really, the two parts of that answer boil down to it's time to grow up. There's a wide swath. This is the type of woman that's having a meltdown, who's in this state of arrested development. But just like there are a bunch of young men, a bunch of disaffected young men, who they need to grow up, and hopefully they have the space to grow up now a little bit. The same thing needs to be happening with anybody who's losing their mind over this election. Like, it's not that deep. Start taking care of yourself. Start living seriously. It's going to be okay.
Now, would you be having a meltdown if Kamala won?
No. I didn't melt down when Biden won. I'll tell you that much. I was surprised. I didn't think there was any
Chance?
Yeah, he wasn't.
It was honestly the perfect storm for Biden to win, though. Because Trump kind of fumbled the bag with COVID, which, I mean, how could you not? It's like the first pandemic since I think the Spanish flu. I feel like in 19 whatever.
Literally 100 years.
Yeah, so I mean, he fumbled the bag pretty hard though. I think at one point he said drink bleach, but apparently I think that might be misproven or something. Anyway, he kind of went anti-vax a little bit with it, but I mean the vaccines hadn't been made yet.
Yeah.
But
They weren't the actual vaccines.
there was that. Then there was some other bullshit. I don't remember exactly. And then the 20 million. So what are you gonna do?
The biggest thing he had going for his favor was literally just being a known quantity. The entire pitch of that campaign was a back to normal.
Biden?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then
Yeah, because he
still-
was VP for Obama, so like everybody was like, I know this guy.
And then you still had mask mandates in this country until literally last year. So, where was all that normal, Joe? Big part of why he would have probably failed this time around, until he enacted his master plan. The machine told him, Joe, you can't run. And he's like, okay, well, I'm going to pick who runs.
Well, trash. Everyone's trash.
It's beautiful, man. The remarks he made after the results, the Wednesday remarks that he made, he was so lucid and spoke so clearly.
Didn't he put on a MAGA hat or something?
That was a while ago. But,
Yeah, I remember that.
but he was just like so lucid and clear. It was like, where was this Joe all these years? And really gives some credence to the idea that maybe he was just pretending to be retarded.
I'm gonna talk to all the Native Americans. I'm gonna apologize to all of them.
Listen, Jack, we're sorry. If you're not sorry, you ain't black.
Hey, what's the big idea? Huh? You guys think I'm not smart enough to talk to the Native Americans?
I bet y'all don't even know that they're actually American Indians.
Hey, newsflash, buddy. I love Native Americans. I love their culture. And I want to go kill an elk and scalp an evil warlord. Holy shit.
Dang old.
I had another question for you, but I forgot what it was. But you had a question for me, so why don't you
Well, I want
ask?
to hear your part about what do you think women are going to do?
Oh, well, I don't know what women are going to do, personally, because I can't step into that zone. I'm a man. I'm like so far removed from women. I hope that I can hope to understand what they're going through a little bit, but I just, I'm really worried about women right now in this country and women's rights, dude. Like, there are so many states where, you know, abortion's legal. Like, what are they gonna do?
Yeah, it's left-wing death squads might force them to kill their babies in
Yeah.
protest against the conservatives.
No more babies. That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna every woman's gonna have abortions from now on. But no, seriously though, like I'm so worried about women right now, Doug.
Okay. Do you forget your onion strips there, buddy?
No, this shit's making me cry. This fucking pouch. But you know, I mean, I don't think I don't think there's going to be a federal law, like a federal abortion ban. I don't think that's going to happen. Because I believe, if I'm correct, the conservatives wanted to make it a state decision anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's going to be a law that says they can't do it. But I am still worried for like them because I mean there are a lot of states where it's not legal. So
And I mean that's how
I don't really know how I feel on the issue exactly if I'm pro-choice or pro-life personally, because there's a lot of pros and cons to both sides. But I think that women, you know, are the ones that really should decide. You know.
I've heard that. I know of that perspective. I hear that that's a thing.
Is that valid? Do you think should I be validated? Women, you are seen and heard on the show. On insert name here, women matter. Ain't that right, Doug?
Absolutely. You know, I like that you brought up your hesitancy to think of a conservative federal ban on abortion. You know who would sign off on that? You know who would sign that into the law? The president would. You know who's not going to do that? President-elect Donald J. Trump.
Donald Trump would never.
Yeah, and we have his commitment to it right here, because on October 1st of this year, to the viewers of 90 million people who have seen this tweet, he stated that everyone knows I would not support a federal abortion ban under any circumstances and would in fact veto it, because it is up to the states to decide based on the will of their voters. And then he says that he fully supports the 3 exceptions of rape, incest, and the life of the mother, which I think any reasonable person does. I'm honestly mother first, even though I am largely pro-life in this debate. You know.
I mean, imagine whether it was like, imagine you're a woman and you're pregnant, but it's going to be a bad pregnancy, and the doctor tells you it's your life or the child's.
Absolutely.
And what would the woman say usually in that case?
See, I don't know that.
Okay, what would like a really caring, loving mother say in that situation?
I mean, to put us, this is idealistic in a certain way, but I mean, obviously, when you're going into parenthood, your intention should be set on the well-being of your child.
This is, by the way, this is a joke. I didn't even have to say it's a joke. I shouldn't have to say that. Don't take it seriously, guys. But imagine, you know, the woman's going to be like, I want my child. But I feel like it really should be the decision of the husband to decide whether who lives and dies. Because, I mean, think about it. He's got to live with the person that comes out. Is it me and a baby? Or is it me and my loving wife that I pledge to love forever?
Yeah, vows. That's all vows, bro.
Like, I mean, like my wife cooks and cleans and she helps out and she knows when I'm feeling bad. The baby, I mean, like, what am I gonna do with the baby?
It's not gonna pay rent.
Yeah, it just sits there and
I'm gonna do
cries.
taxes. I'm gonna have to clean every diaper.
Yeah,
That. Come on. I'm only supposed to do 30% of it at most.
But yeah,
That's as if
I saw a comedian do that bit, or one time, I thought it was so funny.
Yeah. Women really be expecting you to babysit your own child.
Yeah, like what am I like? I gotta work. I gotta go to work. I gotta go sit in a cubicle for a while.
I know it's Saturday, but I have an 8:30 tea time with the boys.
I know it's Saturday, but NFL is on. This is college football, guys. I don't have time. How am I supposed to sit through 10 games in one day? It's a busy schedule.
And I can't do it on Sunday because I have to go to state-mandated church now that the Christians are back in charge.
That's what's really going to hurt the LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
Having to go to church now.
Well, it'll be captivating at first because, as we all know, every single church is going to be doing the burnings of the drag queens.
Yeah. The traditional burn the witch. I mean, the church was burning the witches.
Oh man, just because everybody was on that shit, can we really say it was the church?
Well, in Puritan New England, I guess.
Yeah, it's the one type of person that was around.
They were all super religious, dude.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, there was no option to be anything else.
There was not.
So can you say it was the church de facto, or was it just that particular group?
That
of
mindset,
people?
yeah, that mindset. I don't think the Quakers did that.
Yeah, also, they figured out why people went witch crazy. Did you know this?
What's that?
So, grain storage methods were not super clean and not super efficient.
Of course not, yeah.
And so for that period of time when the Salem witch trials were happening, the town grain supply was basically constantly infested with ergot.
What's that?
For anybody out there who doesn't know, ergot is a naturally occurring mold that you can derive lab grade LSD from. It's in nature though, it's highly hallucinogenic.
Right. Okay, so
And
are
shit
we
wasn't-
thinking the people got LSD'd and then they were like, it was like MK Ultra, like they were like,
Yeah, it was a perpetual bad trip. It was like a good 2 years of everyone just be like, ah!
was it the witches that ate it and then got crazy, or was it everyone?
It was everyone.
Everyone was tripping.
So it was a bad time. If you know anything about tripping, neither set nor setting was conducive to a positive journey.
It kind of reminds me of, I think it was Kodak Black popped a perk on Kai Cenat's stream.
What was that? A glitch for the Twitch.
So,
Dang all.
just everybody's on LSD and not having a good time. Praise God, fire brimstone. Like,
Explains a lot too, even because there's psychology where people will turn on themselves, but like, if you're tripping dick, you might think you're a witch too.
yeah. Could you imagine being a Calvinist and thinking that you weren't predestined to go to heaven?
Yeah, that's funny, right?
I feel like every Calvinist is like, well, back then, right? Because that's not a thing anymore, really. But back then, I feel like every Calvinist was like, yes, I'm going to heaven. Everyone else is not.
It's the only thing that makes Calvinism appealing.
Yeah, just being able to hate everyone else that isn't part of your religion. You're all going to hell!
It's kind of like a proto-Mormonism in a way.
I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to say that.
Okay, well that's what I'm here for.
Because, I mean, I guess, are Mormons, do they think everyone else is going to hell?
I mean, well, they like everybody else think they're the ones that got it right. And
Yeah.
their heaven includes things like getting your own planet.
Right, yeah, that is a little bit crazy. The general Christian sentiment, though, seems pretty tolerant. So I don't think they think other people necessarily are going to hell.
Yeah, it takes a lot, and so like it takes some very specific things to be like permanently barred entry into the kingdom of heaven. So
Yeah, I think Catholics have that like rich history of what hell is supposed to be like. You know, like Dante's
Yeah.
Inferno type shit.
the indulgences and whatnot.
But like, I think even now Catholics are very tolerant. And then the new Pope like said that. I think like he was like, "We're cool with Jews. We like them now."
Yeah, we also like babes on Instagram.
Scroll through the Pope's For You page.
Yeah. He's like, we still have a little bit of problem with not the gays, but with homophobia. Don't ask the Pope what he calls bishops. There's a certain type of bishop that he doesn't like, and we've talked about it on the show. It's the Italian version of a naughty word I can't say.
Yeah.
But
Anyway,
speaking of Catholics,
you still haven't asked me the question.
yeah, I don't want to forget.
Yeah, we're even. We're even.
Speaking of Catholics, did we talk about Luce yet?
Luce?
Yeah.
No.
So the Catholic Church apparently has a tradition of doing a mascot every year to represent the faith and do global outreach. The newest mascot that came out is Luce. Let me pull up a picture of Luce for you. But this is like a Hatsune Miku-esque chibi anime mascot.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I thought it would be like an animal.
No.
I was thinking a Peanut the Squirrel type deal. Did you hear about the Peanut the Squirrel theory? The conspiracy theory?
Yeah, that it is the sort of same animal sacrifice that Harambe was in order to
It's the
spur on a Trump,
reincarnation of Harambe.
who must be sacrificed in order for Trump to win.
And foretold the Trump winning. Yeah.
So, Luce.
Kind of like Milk Chan.
Yeah. So
Oh wow. She's got like a little raincoat on, guys.
here's a really good. This gets it entirely. She's got a little light stick that's also used in some part of like the Catholic.
Yeah, and then she's got on a cross.
Yeah. So Luce, very cute, very cool.
The Catholic marketing team in the Vatican. Good job, guys.
Yeah, they said that we wanted to do something like this because we know we're missing the youth here.
We're gonna get the Asians with this one. We're gonna convert them all.
Dude, it might be hard to get the Asians away from.
Because you know Japan has like little mascots for every city, basically.
Yeah.
So like I feel like it's kind of appealing to that.
Then the mascot of all mascots, Chi-Ten.
Right, the fucking crazy one. Yeah.
So yeah, Luce is pretty cool. Not gonna lie, I like that a lot. I might have to get that funky pop.
We're gonna have to get some Luce merch. Is what we're gonna have to do.
Luce it up. Question for you though.
Sure.
I'm sitting on this one. This is a big type question that I like to ask. It even has a name. It's called the passenger's dilemma.
I think I might have heard of this before.
Okay, I've definitely tweeted about it. Not in an explanation, just mentioned it.
You never explain anything in your tweets, okay? I have to blindly like them because I'm just like, I don't know what he's talking about.
See, that doesn't help me. Twitter is a value economy. Your posts have to do good because they're good. And if you get pity likes, you can't self-filter them. You can't gauge whether they're good or not.
Brother, I don't know what to tell you, man.
I digress.
I would take any amount of pity views on the stream, okay, guys?
Dang, we'll type in the chat. He will talk to you. But, so this is how it goes. You are in the passenger seat of your friend's car, and your friend gets into a wreck, kills somebody, crime has occurred,
Oh, no, someone asked me this.
and then both of y'all get away. You're the only other person that knows, and if you don't snitch on him, if you don't tell, then obviously, like, there's not going to be any consequences. So do you or don't you tell?
I feel like you asked me this before, maybe, actually.
I might add.
But, in any case, my answer remains the same from before. I don't know. I definitely got asked this recently. My answer is I don't tell because they're my friend. But if law enforcement finds out somehow and they come knocking on my door and they're like, "Hey, we know that your friend, I think we suspect your friend of killing someone in a road accident, and we think you might have some sort of testimony, whatever the word I'm looking for is," I would be like, "Yeah, he did it."
Damn.
Because I mean, I'm not gonna lie to law enforcement on behalf of my friend. That is where it's gone too far. I feel like if I lie about it to the law enforcement, then I could get in trouble if they still find out. So
That's crazy. That also is variables that aren't in the premise.
right, yeah, I understand. I think you might have made this point last time too. So if the victim's family, if the victim had no family, right, the guy that my friend killed, they had no family, so there was no one to care or report or go looking into this. So in this void, in this vacuum, it's just me and my friend are the only people that know this even happened. Obviously, the only way it would ever come out at this point would be my friend having a guilt trip and then confessing, because I wouldn't report him.
A real Edgar Allan Poe, ever beating heart type situation.
Because I mean, I would hope my friend has a conscience about killing someone. I would really hope that personally, because that's a pretty fucked up thing to do. But me, when you're weighing, I guess, I don't know, it's like a life versus my friend's life.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm only human. Don't put the blame on me.
goddamn.
What's the right answer there, Doug?
I think you definitely don't tell. And here's why. It's like something bad has already occurred, and nothing good is going to come out of you forcing that accountability.
Just punishment for the friend.
Yeah, and once you're in the system for something that severe, like, there's a category of stuff that you can get essentially you done goofed. Here's a light consequence. Everybody gets one, essentially, is what I'm saying.
Everybody gets one vehicular manslaughter.
No, and then once you get to something like vehicular manslaughter, that principle doesn't apply. And once you've offended to that level and gotten into the system, it is incredibly hard to get out. The few success stories are outweighed by the fact that 99.9% of everybody else just becomes a permanent, essentially non-citizen in this country. So, is it one life gone, or is it a life gone and a life ruined? And I think if the choice is up to you, you do what you can to avoid ruining someone's life. It wasn't your fault that that guy died, but it will end up being your fault if you ruin the friend's life.
Wow, guys, that's a hard one. Think about that.
Yeah, that's one of those ones where there's no right answer. There's just a right answer for you. It's one of those. You ask somebody that question, you get a better bead on who they are as an individual.
I guess so.
But yeah, man. Who's to say? Who's to say?
Who is to say? I don't know. But I think that's definitely a hard question to answer, and I think that insurgentists, we'd love to hear what you might think.
We could talk more about liberal allegations of election fraud if you want.
I mean, it's true.
It's
Every election's rigged.
But yeah, I got this thread here on X from Springtrap.
By the way, I just wanted to check real quick, and I know we're like pretty far into the episode. No comments from last week.
Ah, very well. Hey, no matter how far we are in, we're still in the pocket where comments would come up. It's all part of the tapestry, brother.
Yeah, I just thought about it. I wanted to check.
The dangle. So we got Springtrap here.
Yeah. Springtrap, famous character from Five Nights at Freddy Fazbear's.
Yes. So, but compiled a large list of allegations or reasonings, and it's very funny. Quick aside, it's really funny to watch libs try to do this about an election when a Repub won, because all of these arguments that we're about to go through are arguments that were made in 2020 about the Biden victory, and that were all easily debunked by libs that time. So for those of us who still remember, those of us who don't have COVID brain, those of us who don't have TDS, it's like we already did this. These are all things that we know the reasons why. And we're going to see some of that in the thread as well.
For sure. Let's hear about it. Let's hear about some of why the election was rigged.
All right. So the first one that we start off with is how there's 20 million missing votes or whatever.
Oh, instead of 20 million extra, 20 million missing.
Yeah. It gets posed as 20 million votes haven't been counted, and they're comparing that to the Biden-Trump count, when it's like, one, you don't need to count all the votes to determine an election. This was a popular thing that was said a lot in the week or so after 2020. Like, you count enough of them and then you know how it's gone.
Yeah.
It only really affects something like the popular vote total. And even that's just bragging rights. It has no bearing on the EC.
EC Electoral College for any non-American listener.
Yeah. And here's where it starts to get a little more damning. As opposed to last time, 42 million new voters have been registered. And the count is still 20 million total lower. So, how is there twice as many new voters as there are missing votes? Now, that one I can actually kind of give them a little bit. But what you do have to keep in mind is, in 2020, almost everybody got mailed a ballot. Even people, and especially in some cases, people who didn't ask for one. They made it really easy to vote. People who would not take the time out to vote otherwise.
It was COVID,
Yeah.
so I mean, you know.
Made it a lot easier to just be like, okay, I'll scan. Oh, this is like high school. This is like a Scantron.
Muddle in my answers. Oh no, they're all C.
Yeah.
Did I get it right?
But and you know, postage was paid on those ballots. You didn't even have to buy a stamp to send that hoe back. You just link the envelope, put it in the box.
Crazy.
So.
But I mean, I guess appropriate. Making people have to pay to vote is kind of weird.
Yeah. And then they're like, this means that we need to do a recount. And this is probably my favorite community note that I've ever seen. They bust out the Merriam-Webster on them and show that the dictionary definition of recount means counting something a second time, meaning that the ballots have already been confirmed and tabulated. What would recounting them do? Yep, there's still that many.
Yep.
And then, yeah, there's an allegation of voting machine fraud, which was proven time and again, and in court, by the way, that the voting machines were secure.
Yeah. What was that? Dominion?
Dominion is the big one.
Yeah. That was a big thing going on about that, and then now they're pulling that as like like it's already been. You guys were cool with it before. Why not cool with it now?
Yeah, you ever notice how the only people that claim election fraud are the losers?
True.
Nobody out here goes like, "What do you want? I don't think I won. Count that again."
Do you think there'll be a liberal version of January 6th now?
I hope there will be. I hope we should do that every time. We should have January 6th every time.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Well, because, and you're not going to like me when I say this, but it's also true that January 6th was an op. That was a false flag. Like, just like the attempted kidnapping of Gretchen Whitmer.
Well, now it can be a real flag.
Yeah, but no, like feds were planted in that crowd to do agitprop. They also were the ones that came up with the idea of storming the Capitol. Then
Maybe they'll do it again.
yeah, rally planners took up that language and be like, yeah, we're going to show how much we're not okay with this, with the rally that took place earlier in the day before agitators swarmed the Capitol building. And we'll say it time and time again, there was no incitement of violence by anyone that day. Two of the people they've gone after the most, Alex Jones and Donald Trump, each of them explicitly told people to go home peacefully. So there was no figurehead, there was no large-scale incitement to violence. It was all just feds trying to push a narrative, which we know happens. But now what I want to happen, I want it to be a more formalized thing. I don't think we need to do property damage. And hopefully no one would get shot. Rest in peace, Ashley Babbitt.
Yes. Yes.
But, you know, we can kind of set it up to where within certain boundaries, like, you know, let's put a rope, let's rope off the doors inside the Capitol building with like a 50-foot radius. Let people come all the way up and in. Don't let them go in the hallways or the offices. But as they're certifying that election, let them hear the rumbling of people outside. I mean, it would be kind of symbolic knowing that, like, people who care enough and are politically motivated enough to show up to that kind of event. It would be a reminder that as a public servant, you serve the entire country, not just your party.
When you phrase it like that.
Yeah, so I think it could be a cool political tradition is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't think it needs to be this thing where people lose in fear for their lives. I don't think it needs to be a criminal, but
But a reminder that, like, there is a large demographic of this country that that you need to worry about governing that doesn't agree with you.
yeah, like Harris said in her concession speech, you know, we don't serve the establishment, we don't serve a party, we serve the nation. Which I was like, where was this the whole campaign? Where was it? We might have taken you seriously if you pulled out some of this stuff. Like, of course, part of me thinks she didn't want to win, but you know.
It's just vibes. It's vibes, man.
This is the vibe I got.
This is the Kamala Harris vibe campaign, bro.
Like the best part of her campaign.
Cardi B talked about reproduction rights, bro.
Hell yeah. A little bit more fraud here. They complained about the AP, quote unquote, calling stuff early. And AP, the Associated Press, for anyone who doesn't know, is like they're like the last bastion of neutrality in legacy media. Like they're the go-to center point of this is the facts. So the community note here was, well, it has less to do with them trying to pull the election one way or the other, and just the fact that they have basic demographic understanding of where they're calling the vote. You could, like, they called Hawaii with 0% of the vote. Obviously, Hawaii is going blue. There was one island in the chain where they did vote 100% Trump, but being such a small island in an already small nation state, it's not going to affect the senatorial, the EC outcome. Other places you could call without voting.
California,
California.
Texas, probably. Although apparently Texas was supposedly might vote Democrat this election. Is what people were saying, but
Yeah, well, they always say that about Texas. And the problem is that if things were going good and they weren't bearing the brunt of southern border, like traditional what you think of, the Bush era narrative of illegal immigration, if Texas wasn't bearing the burden of that right now, and also the responsibility of actually securing that physical border, they would probably be blue. I mean, just like everywhere else, all their cities and surrounding suburbs vote heavily blue. Just they have large exurb populations that make the state kind of go red. They reelected Ted Cruz, so
they did.
that kind of tells you how things are going in Texas. If things are bad enough that you have to reelect Ted Cruz,
Ted Cruz liked porn on Maine, dude.
it's great. He's got a dog wife, dude.
Your dog's a wife.
There's a lot of state places that you just know you can't just say that because of just general polling,
New York, state of New York.
which is carried by NYC. Like, it's crazy. You look at the county breakdown on that shit. NYC is basically the only blue part of the state.
But they always vote blue, I feel like. There's like definitely states like that, and then there's the few swing states, and that's the only ones that matter.
Michigan was the big surprise one this time. Michigan and Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Michigan and Pennsylvania.
Michigan was, ironically enough, because of Muslims. And Muslim voters came out in a big way to support Trump. And then, so he's the only one who said anything one way or the other. Between the two of them, the only one that said anything about the rising tensions, or the continued tensions in the Middle East. Kamala would just ignore it. She'd be like, there needs to be a plan.
Yeah, she told people to shut up and said, we're going to make a deal.
I'm speaking.
And we're going to make a deal.
But,
Yeah, I feel like her only real issue that she really spoke on was reproductive rights.
Yeah, yeah. And which, not that they're not a big deal, but that's not all there is.
It's not the only issue, yeah.
And then Pennsylvania was surprising because Philadelphia is a major Democratic hub, like for the machine of the party. And apparently the head of the Philadelphia Democrats, he had an interview this week after the concession speech, was like, yeah, Harris and their campaign didn't talk to me once. I didn't know what I needed to do to support them. They didn't want to hear what the Democrats of Philadelphia might want in their representation. So,
Wow.
yeah, like almost purposefully losing.
Yeah, like why? What?
Some of the strategy really seems like throwing it away.
That's what I remember about Florida, too. Because she, apparently she called, is it Rick DeSantis?
Ron DeSantis.
Ron DeSantis, she called him about hurricanes and stuff. And he was like, you didn't call me for the past 3 years. I'm not going to answer now.
Yeah.
Like, we've had hurricanes every year. I mean, I don't know what you want. Like,
It's called hurricane season.
yeah, why are you just now calling me?
Because now it's politically expedient. I didn't think I'd be running for president 3 years ago.
Right.
But those are just some of the hits. Anybody who was on the good guy's side in 2020 has already seen these objections, already seen how, as compelling as they feel, they don't actually have any standing.
They don't hold up.
Yeah. So
We saw that with Tucker.
hey, I get it. Sometimes losing an election feels bad. I am sympathetic. I'm empathetic. I don't even have to be empathetic. I just know how that feels.
I mean, I lost the election, man. I'm feeling sympathetic, you know?
Heard that. But yeah, it's gonna be okay. The world didn't end in 2020, and it's not gonna end in 2024.
No, it's not going to end in 2024.
I mean, it's really.
Might end in 2025, though. I'm just kidding.
I mean, it might anything, but no. If anything, it's just gonna keep getting better. Have you seen like all these world leader big name responses to the outcome of this election?
Yeah, I think you were telling me about him this week.
Yeah. So
Supposedly the Ukraine war might end.
yeah, both sides are done with it. Putin immediately was like, "All right, call me, Trump. Let's get this done. I want to hear how the U.S. wants to end this." Like that's how he phrased it. It was like, "Let's end this on your terms." And then a few hours after that, Zelensky also came out and was like, "Yes, we are looking forward to work with Donald Trump."
All they have to do is just give them the territory that they took, and then basically it could be over.
Yeah, and that's how I think the negotiation is going to go. Right now, Moscow was able to secure about 20% of Ukraine's old territory, which is still not all the territory that they wanted, but I think that's all they're going to end up getting.
Okay. There's probably going to be some sort of deal made, like how much they get.
Yeah. But so that war is going to be over.
Which is crazy. Russia's already big enough, man.
Yeah.
I guess they want to grow some grain.
Hamas, what's left of it, has said that they're done fighting and just like they would like to secure by any means an end of that war, and that came pretty soon after the Trump victory as well, like within 12 hours. So it was clearly in response to that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of really the first real win. Like this is the first real opportunity we've seen in at least 6 months for that to happen.
Yeah. I feel like the party's really flipped. You know? Like,
Yeah, well, I mean, you get you get Liz Cheney and Dick Cheney's endorsement of the same people that still 20 years later still want us to go to war with Iran.
yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, the party's flipped, I think, like Lyndon B. Johnson times or whatever. Like, Democrats used to be different, and Republicans used to be different, and then it switched, right? And then, and now it seems like, well, at least right now, I mean, we'll see because once Trump gets out of office, he can't run again. So who else the Republicans bring up, I don't know. But it seems like the Democrat Party is more into the military-industrial complex at this point. Like they want the wars.
Yeah, I mean that's who all their donors are. If you look at least the public donor breakdowns, corporate in general, whether it's military-industrial, pharmaceutical-industrial. All these big things that require war and sickness, two of the four horsemen. All these companies involved with that are the donors to the Democratic machine. And honestly, most of the Republican money these days comes from small dollar donors. It's very Sanders-esque, if you will. Which, any Dems out there who are deeply upset, like what could you have done to win? I don't know, maybe give us Bernie in 2016 or 2020. Yeah, I talk a lot of conservatism right now, but I was a Bernie bro. That campaign really spoke to me, and especially men my age. And if you're gonna, the Dems are doing the thing like young men are completely captured. How do we reach young men? It's like, well, you had us. You had us for 8 years. Yeah, you had us pretty much up until like halfway through the Biden administration. We were like, yeah, but healthcare for everybody. And then that wasn't good enough. You wanted a different old man.
Who was the universal income?
That's Andrew Yang.
Yeah.
Yang.
That would be what I was talking to you about earlier. Like, that would give everyone like food, shelter, water. That would all be guaranteed at that point.
Yep. And to me, it makes a lot of sense to provide food, water, shelter, because that creates a higher standard of health.
But it makes like a golden age in the country where everyone can do what they need to do because they don't have to focus on that.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, where the economy's at, everyone complains about fucking groceries being too high and stuff. I mean, You see what I'm talking about? Like, if everything was more affordable, like, the country could prosper more. Like 1950s, 60s America type shit, you know?
Yeah, I'll say it very cynically, but if your needs are met, that means you can work harder and make more money and make more people more money. Like, you can be more productive for your, like, bosses out there. And when I say bosses, I mean like CEOs, like heads of boards. If your employee, you want your number to keep going up, make sure your employees are healthy enough to make that number go up. It just makes sense. It is like so fucking obvious. I don't know how people miss this.
Yeah, production goes up when the people are happy. I guess not production, productivity.
Mm-hmm.
People are way more willing to work if they're like happy.
Yeah. And then some people are like, oh, well, people would just well, if you're only giving them food, water, shelter, that's eventually going to become pretty boring if your life is just food, water, shelter. You don't have any money to go spend on enjoyment. You don't have any savings to make, so you're just living on basic, like, when I say food, water, shelter, we're talking MRE tier, like survival tier food.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking school lunchroom food, which I'm hoping that we see. One of the things that kept getting thrown around by RFK in his allegiance with Trump was trying to get healthy school lunches free for all American
Children?
grade schoolers. So that would be an awesome thing to see. That's probably who I care about not going hungry the most. I'm like,
Kids, yeah, because especially if you don't know if they're going to get a meal at home.
yeah,
That's the problem, right? That's the real issue.
if you get them 2 a day, you know, a little bit of breakfast in the door, and then you got lunch. I think that solves so many problems, especially with long-term knock-on effects. Because food is such a big part of development.
Well, right now, there is those school lunches, but you were saying just healthier.
Yeah.
What are they fucking called? Crispitos or something?
Crispito.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
They're like a burrito just filled with ground beef.
Oh, man.
And kids love them. For real, like high schoolers love them.
That sounds like Taco Bell.
Yeah, so like, I mean, those are great and all, but like if we could have like a salad with that and...
It's some kind of fiber, dude. Let's get them rice cakes going.
I'm talking like nutrients, like vitamins and minerals is what I'm talking about.
We grind vitamin, let's get a multivitamin.
Put a fucking Flintstone vitamin in every fucking kid's lunch.
Grind it into a fine powder, and then cover like a little donut with it like it's powdered sugar. It'd be incredible.
Nice. On a fucking donut's crazy. So healthy.
Hey, they go nuts for donuts. That's what they
Who's
do.
going nuts?
Nobody this month.
Holy shit. I did not see that coming.
Bangers.
God damn.
Dang old dang.
Is there any other things you put out that
No,
those
those
are
are
mostly it? Like the voting machines and the recount and
amount of votes, calls for a recount. Why did they call these things early? All kinds of shenanigans that, again, if you go back, you look at the past, continuing on in court cases, we know why these things aren't legitimate grievances. So, sucks to say it. Sucks. I know, it hurts, but it's going to be okay.
I pray that everyone's okay. I try to understand where you're coming from. I really do. I mean, you know, I'm a man, a cis, straight, white male, and I can't feel all the things that everyone feels, but I'm an ally, you know?
Right on.
I hope they don't make a law about, like, a trans bathroom or something, you know?
Yeah, well, those laws are, I mean, everywhere that you've seen a law like that enforced has been also immediately countered socially by no calls to actually enforce it, because it invariably negatively just like, it's the same kind of thing that happened with Imani Khalifi, and now the tide has turned on that. Apparently, they've gone and stolen her medical records, and he does actually have a micro penis and undescended testicles and all kinds of crazy, like abnormally level gender shit going on. Which, I mean, to me, something like that just still kind of effectively makes you a lady. Like, it's just such an outlier case, man. But like,
Okay, that is so weird. But if you have undescended testicles, do you even make testosterone?
that's what I'm saying. But like going back to this summer in the world we lived in, it was like, come on, bro. Like, it should typically fit. Shouldn't fit the look, the aesthetic, or what you would project on your impression of a woman, and then make her not a woman just because she's against it.
Like we talked about this before. If she's from Algeria, right?
Yeah, where they
would kill you if you're trans. So, or in jail or whatever. So, no, she's a woman.
But then, so in places, like, I'm thinking of North American examples now, in places that have tried to do transgender bathroom bans,
I think it was North Carolina.
it has resulted in, well, at least use the word unfortunate looking women being falsely discriminated against and attacked.
That's fucked up, yeah.
And so, whether it's on the books or not, it doesn't actually get enforced. Because the people that those laws are designed to restrict anyway don't even get as far as the bathrooms before they're socially policed. I'm sure you can conjure up an image in your mind, the kind of person that those laws are meant to police. And, for better or for worse, society has already had their eye on those people for a long time. Normal people of any gender identity largely get left alone. There just doesn't need to be laws about this, and even when they get made, there's no need to enforce them.
Yeah. Okay. So try to feel safe, guys.
Yeah, shit, I had something. Oh, yeah. So not only are you probably just already going to be safe in general, there's obviously going to be shitheads online stirring the pot. Nick Fuentes, a federal asset, someone who doesn't represent anything good or right in the world. He's got a lot of people upset right now because you might see this on TikTok at some point, but he was the speaker of the audio where he does this big speech about your body, my choice, which is fucking disgusting.
It is disgusting.
Let's be clear. Actively campaigned against Trump. It was a mostly counter-Trump campaign, but then he was also pro-Harris a lot in the last month, campaigning for her. He's a bad guy. He doesn't represent any real people or any people of value. Well, official stance of the show, fuck Nick Fuentes.
Official stance of the pod. Yeah.
But what I want to, my empathy outreach here is there is a lot of people who have
Wrap it up, put a bow on it.
There's a lot of people that have essentially been lied to and fed this false reality where they're going to get strung up and dragged behind cars and put into camps just because of the outcome of an election. That is not the case. If you can remember back to 8 years ago, if it was going to happen, it would have happened then. There's no political motivation to do that kind of thing. The people that you may personally know who you could imagine doing that kind of thing, the law is not going to let them. This is a country that is heading back into the realm of law and order, slowly but surely.
Which a lot of people would be like, no, it's not. He's a convicted felon.
Yeah, of what? Fucking a porn star and lying about it?
Yeah, that's like the most reasonable crime. I could be like, okay, yeah, like it's because he wanted an NDA that they used campaign funds for, and not appropriate. But at the same time, it's like, I get where you're coming from. I wouldn't want a porn star in a presidential election saying she fucked me.
Yeah, and they're only felonies because they found a way to upcharge it.
Yeah, because it was just a misdemeanor, but in the state of New York, there was a clause that made it that they could make it a felony. And it was funny because it was like 3 different things, and the jury could only have to think he was guilty of one of them to convict him.
Yeah. And also, if you believe in rehabilitative justice, somebody being a felon doesn't inherently devalue them as a person. Okay?
Right.
So
it does mean they can't vote, though. So Trump couldn't vote.
You don't need to vote when the whole country will vote for you.
But yeah, it is a little bit weird, but it's, yeah, you know,
Yeah.
some bullshit.
I think we could probably talk for a good couple more hours even.
Yeah, like,
But this isn't Joe Rogan.
yeah, where we at, bro? Where we at? Yeah, we need to wrap this baby up.
Yeah. So why don't you part me a shot there, brother?
Oh man, I thought you'd never ask. Guys, let me tell you, man. Mondays they're hard. Mondays are hard. You know, you get home from a hard day of work. The first day of the week, you're like, fuck, dude, I have the rest of the week. But let me tell you, there's something you can look forward to on Mondays. And let me tell you this, there's something you can look forward to on Tuesdays too.
Tuesdays especially.
It's called twitch.tv/Seth_Nacho411. It's where you can find me streaming Dead by Daylight and hopefully improve your mood a little bit.
Hell yeah.
You know? Get rid of that Monday blues with some Money Monday.
Oh yeah.
And get rid of those Tuesday blues with some Terry Tuesday.
Oh, is that what you call it now?
That's
I
what
remember what it used to be called.
That's what I've been calling it, okay? And then when you get to Wednesday, it's the hump day, so you're feeling good. You're almost done with the week, so hopefully I get you through the hard times.
Beast mode.
And as for like an actual shot, I just hope that everyone can accept the outcome. I feel like we only talked about the election this episode. I hope everyone can accept the outcome of what happened and just know that I'm stand with, you know, I'm here for rights in general. I don't want anyone to lose any rights. So, you know,
Yeah.
I think that's about it. I don't know what to say, but like, do you get where I'm coming from? Like, I'm a place of empathy.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Dang, well, over here, you already know, it's your boy, the boy. You know what I do and where to find me. In terms of a parting shot, it's pretty interesting. Just in the case of, we're not going to use the polite term, just in the case of abortion, having it be in the hands of the states, overwhelming majority of American citizens wanted that. Something like 70% says of Americans thought that abortion rights should be in the hands of the states. And out of that, the demographic split there, men versus women. Like 60% of women asked thought it should be a states' right issue. And then, you know, maybe like 65% men. So, yeah, it's kind of the will of the people in a way. Now, 40% not wanting that, 40% wanting federal, also a significant portion. But in terms of where we're at generally, you know, that's, I think, important.
Democracy is the will of the majority.
Yeah, and we all know how bad democracy is. We talk about that constantly. So, I guess I have to change my stance now. Well, that's not the only thing I'll change, but what I'll never change, and you shouldn't either, is you gotta chop wood, you gotta carry water, and most importantly, Xiao Hong Shu.
Jiangsu!
Sustain